Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. So today I'm doing this look on my face, obviously, and I did this with the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe palette, which I love. Sadly, this is not my palette. It's actually my friend Tara's. Shout out to Tara for letting me borrow this, and I'm really sad that I have to let go of it, but I can't afford my own right now, so it's just gonna have to do. So I wanted to do something a little bit different than the looks everyone else has been doing with this palette. As you can see, this is more of like a classic smoky eye, which you can do with like almost any palette, but I like the way it turned out, so keep watching to see how I got this look. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is taking my Morphe M513, and with the Jaclyn palette, this shade is going to be my transition shade, so I'm just going to put that in my crease and sort of like build it up in my outer corner too, since that's going to be black eventually. And by the way, I've already obviously done one eye, but I also have my eye primed already. I used the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and I just set it with some translucent powder, and I did my eyebrows before too. So when you're using black, which is really messy, it's really important to just build up the colors gradually and not just go straight in with the black. So I'm just going to keep using darker and darker shades until I get to the eventual black we're going to be using. So next I'm going to be using this shade as more like an intense orange transition shade, which is another tip with black. You want to use warmer transition shades so it doesn't look like a mess. I don't really know how to describe it, but you'll see in the end it really pulls it all together. So next I'm going to be taking a more smaller dense brush so I can be more precise, and that is the Sigma blending brush E25, and I'm going to take this shade right here, which is like a warm light brown, and I'm going to put it in the same places as the other colors but focus it more inner on my crease and on my outer corner. Another thing is don't be afraid to be messy on your outer corner, because as you can tell by this one, I cleaned it up with a makeup wipe at the end, so all your mistakes will be hidden at the end. So then I'm going to go back to my Morphe 513 and just blend everything out. So then going back with my Sigma E15, I'm gonna move on to this really dark brown shade, which is right next to the black, and basically do the same thing, but just be more careful with this since it is a darker color. I'm honestly not even sure if this is like brown. It looks more of like almost like an eggplant color to me, but it works, so whatever. Then I'm just gonna switch back to my blending brush and do the same thing. Okay, so now for the scary part, which is using the black. Just a warning is that the black in the Jaclyn palette is like next level pigmented, which a lot of black shades are, so you have to be even more careful than you normally would be with a black shade. So just take a little bit at a time and then slowly build up the color, and you'll get a more blended effect, whereas if you just went right in, it would be a big muddy mess. So with the black, I'm going to be mostly focusing it on my outer corner and blending it inwards towards my crease, but not focusing my crease because that would be a little bit too intense. Then taking my blending brush, I'm going to go in with my original transition shade, the tan orangey one, and blend over top of the black so that gives it more of a transition. And you're just going to keep going until it matches the intensity of the other eye, obviously. Back with my blending brush. So this is about good for now, because after we do the cut crease and add the glitter, we're going to go back in and like redefine the outer corner. So now I'm going to do the actual half cut crease part, which as always I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and this flat little brush from Tarte, which I don't know the name of. And I'm just going to carve out the first half of my crease and sort of blend it out so it has like a gradient effect in this area and it won't be like a harsh line. So you guys can watch me do that, but I'm sorry if my little mirror gets in the way because I really have to focus for this part. So once you have the crease cut, then I'm gonna take this sort of shimmery peachy something shade up here, and I'm gonna take my tiny little detail brush, which is the Morphe M508, and I'm just gonna set that so it doesn't get sticky and whatnot. Alright, so once that is set, then it's time for the glitter. And for the glitter I'm using, I got this from like bulkglitters.com a while ago, back when Daisy like gave everyone the link and then their site like blew up and they like don't sell these anymore, I don't think. So I'll try to find like an equivalent of this because like I'm sure you can just get gold glitter anywhere. But anyway, so this is gold glitter, and for my adhesive I'm going to be using the Too Faced glitter glue. And how I'm going to do this is just like squeeze it on the back of my hand. And then taking the same Morphe M508, I'm just going to dip into the glue. And then I'm just going to dip it into the glitter lightly and tap off the excess. And then this will be like sticky glitter, like ready for you to put on your eyelid. So I'm just going to do that right in the area where I just set. So now that the glitter is on, we have to go back to the outer corner and like redefine the black and make it more of like an ombre into the glitter. So I'm just taking my Sigma brush again and dipping into the black and sort of dotting it onto my outer corner. And I'm just going to make it even with the other eye basically. Then one last time, I'm just going to take my blending brush and blend everything out. Alright, so to finish the eye off, I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and like point it in my finger like this and then just drag upwards to clean up the edge. So moving on to my face, I'm using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer and I'm just putting that in my T-zone area. Then for foundation, I'm using my go-to right now, which is the Born This Way foundation by Too Faced. I'm in the shade Honey right now, and then I'm using a damp beauty blender to apply that. By the way, this might look too dark for my face right now, but if you see my arms, it is not too dark. I'm trying to match my face to the rest of my body for once, so yeah. So I'm not going to be using concealer today because the one I have is currently way too light for me. So I'm just going to be doubling up on my foundation underneath my under eyes to give extra coverage. So to set my face, I'm going to be using my Mercier translucent powder, which I have barely any left of. And first I'm going to be putting it in my oiliest and creasiest areas, and then I'm going to just set my whole face with it. So to set my face, I'm using a Real Techniques brush that I can't read the name of because it's worn off. So I'm just gonna dust / pat off the excess powder using this random Untitled brush. So next I'm going to contour using my Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D, and I can't hold it up because one of them is shattered and it'll all fall out, but I'm going to be using the darkest shade to contour my face. So next I'm going to bronze my face using my Bobbi Brown bronzing powder and my Morphe M527. So since this is a dramatic look, I don't want anything too serious for blush, so I'm going to be using my Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Paaarty. And I'm using an e.l.f. Professional Total Face Brush for this. Then for highlight, I'm going to be using, as always, my Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit and the shade 143. So next I'm going to just take my makeup wipe and wipe the foundation off my lips because that's not cute. Then I'm just going to go put chapstick on over that and also put on my lashes, so I'll be right back. Okay, so off camera I did my lashes, which I think are the House of Lashes Iconics if I remember correctly. Then I also just did my bottom lashes and used my L'Oreal Telescopic, and for my bottom eyeshadow I just used literally the same colors I used on my eyes in the same order, and I just kept it close to my lash line. So for the final touch, I'm going to be using a classic red lipstick, which is Nosferatu by Kat Von D, my favorite lipsticks ever. Also, by the way, I did spray my face off camera with Badescu Rose Water to melt everything together. Okay, so this is the finished look. I really like how dramatic and formal it is because I don't normally do looks like that, and I hope you guys liked it too. So be sure to leave your feedback and video suggestions in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video.